Hi guys, these are examples of the kind of pictures that I want you to take for your final uh, double exposure. So you can see exactly what we're looking for here. Basically, we're going to be taking silhouettes, images that have a dark area with a backlit light area, just like the one that you're seeing here with me in front of a window you did on the last edit, and pictures like this one that have contrast. It's not a perfect silhouette in any way where it's solid black and solid white, but we have a light area and we have a dark area, and that's most important. It really helps that you have for pictures like these, um, it kind of transitioning from one direction to the other. You want it to be pretty dense in the dark area and pretty dense in the light area, meaning like no big obstructions in either. So here you can see, that was my subject. It was a hand, solid dark, surrounded by pretty solid light. So that's basically what we're going to be doing here. So got my camera on. Um, there's my hand. The goal is to position it so that it's a nice subject. I tapped on my subject there, and it's doing the normal exposure stuff. I can slide, I can change that up a bit. I want to be able to see the edges of the hand. I want to be able to see the hand. The details of the hand aren't quite as important. The background is pretty much white. It's as clean as I can get it in this circumstance, and this is just a window I walked up to in my house. So I'm trying couple different angles, flipping things around. Hey, I've got this thing hanging from my window, so why not just try that out along the way? Do a little experiment, see if it turns out okay, and um, that's kind of the rundown of how this works. So like, let's say I switch this into selfie mode and I'm going to be the subject. This is exactly how I produced the image for your last project. So I'm going to try and find the right angle here where my head is silhouetted pretty well, but I'm having a problem with my chin standing out. It's just kind of a weird angle. So I'm going to try and get a complete side profile here and get that exposure right. I think it looks cooler with the sunglasses because you get the cool reflection. And so I got a couple of grabs there that I can crop down. I stepped outside, and hey, that's a silhouette. It's a shadow. So that should work out if I want to try something like that as my subject. Uh, just another way, just like using the window, I can switch in a selfie mode and just use the blue sky, the sun, to try and get a picture of myself. Now, I've gone a little bit too bright here. I was trying to get that white background sky there, but it's basically eating up the top of my head, which is kind of irregular. So, you're just looking for a clear space with good contrast of light and dark, your subject being dark, your background being light, and that should work out well. This is kind of a perfect example of what you're going for. Mess with that exposure a little bit. It doesn't hurt to have extras. So here, I'm just gonna grab another thing, try it out. Found these dandelions. They're pretty much everywhere right now. So let's grab one of those. And I'm going to hold it directly up to the sky and snap a picture. And this might work out well, but this is going to work out really well. I've put the sun directly behind it, which means it's going to glow and definitely be shadow on the backside. I'll try different zooms on that. Here's some sticks. Just grab from my wood pile. I'm just going to hold them up over this tree, make um, this kind of pattern density thing. Honestly, this situation doesn't work super well. It takes a lot of editing. Why? Because it's kind of scattered all over the place. We have dark light, dark light, dark light. And it's really going to chop up the picture when you put them together and interact. Here's another subject, a leaf. Another thing I grabbed off the ground. Going to do the same thing I did with the dandelion here. So we'll put the sun to the back of it so we can get a nice silhouette there. Yeah, there's an out of focus tree in the far back left. It might give us some issues, but not terribly so. So this is an alternative subject. So basically we're going to create this interaction of subject and texture. When you have some sort of solid object that works out pretty well, you can get an interaction. Here's where that texture comes from. This tree is kind of the thing that we're going to get to force through the image. And just like I used something with my face. So my face was the subject, my head was the subject in the last edit, and I just applied a texture over top of that. This chain here could be either. It could be the texture that's working through, or it could be a subject. Why? Because it has a lot of thick, solid density there. We can definitely see what it is. And so that would work out pretty well. So again, play with that exposure, play with the arrangement of the object until you get a couple of options. We can only assume how some of these will turn out, so it's good to have backups on backups on backups. So you can see all the pictures I've taken. I've got a number of things that would work well as subjects, a number of things that would work well as textures, and here's the edit that I did before, just with a bunch of different pictures that I've applied over top of it. Each of these is a valid combination. You can totally use any of those. And it's just those pictures that I just took. You watched me do it. I just turned them black and white, really high contrast using that adjust function. And that's the rundown. So you're just taking pictures of yourself as your subject, and you're going to take pictures of those textures, those trees going up into the sky, those dark densities next to light areas, and try combining them together. You've seen examples, you've created examples in the last assignment of how that looks in the end. So you know exactly what your end result is to be. It's just you're taking that silhouette selfie and you're working with it, with the textures until they merge together nice and neatly. And that's it.